Hello, good morning and welcome to the second race weekend for Legends of Le Mans, this brand new series for near recent racers from the 24 Hours and other Le Mans rules races. And we are back at Spa-Francorchamps for the second race of the weekend. Again, a 40-minute encounter for these drivers and cars. It is a single driver race, so no pit stops required here. There have been pit callers in the races before, but usually because of car maladies rather than anything else. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a cold but beautifully sunny morning here in the Belgian Ardennes. Martin Haven and Graham Goodwin. And Graham, 4 degrees this morning. Oh, but beautifully sunny. I mean, clear blue skies overhead. It really is a picture-perfect location for these cars.
Well, that's what you can see here at Spa this morning. It is indeed beautiful. Good morning, Martin. Good morning, everybody. Thousands of fans streaming in this morning for what's expected to be a record-breaking crowd for the WEC. An ideal hors d'oeuvre ahead of the main course that will be served up from 2 p.m. this afternoon. And
great to see so many young fans as well. So hopefully mums and dads and big brothers and whatever will be saying, oh yeah, that was the Peugeot that, and that was the Oreca that, and so and this is, you know, in recent memory. In fact, down on the grid, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich and Bruno Fama,
yes,
arch rivals. Ulrich, of course, ran Audi in period, and Bruno Fama was the head of the Peugeot team, of which there are 3 representatives here on the grid. Sean Lynn in the Harlequin colours of the Ugo Schoenack Oreca Run car.
By the way, just noticing on the grid, by the way, Milton Jakobsen with Sean Lynn by that car. Of course, the pole sitter for the race today, and the first pole sitter for Peugeot in a World Championship since 1992.
Yeah, so that would have been a 905B, wouldn't it? So who was that? Derek Warwick or somebody probably. That's the vintage we're talking about.
We'll tell you, by the way, we have got one missing car certainly on the grid, not seen it on pit lane either. Marcel Eby in the Lola B0610, one of the 2 Lolas being run by Race Performance. That car does not appear to have made the grid.
That's the gap on the right-hand side there, as we look at Stuart Wiltshire. In fact, just out of shot on the right there was Wolfgang Ulrich, the tall figure you can see. If you look at the safety car, he's kind of directly behind that.
So what is Legends of Le Mans? It's a new concept for this year. It supports the FIA World Endurance Championship here. It did so as well in the opening round at Imola.
I think we are also missing Mark Drain. There was a gap directly ahead of our LMGT pole sitter. But the cars that we do have are fabulous. This is yesterday's race winner, Crichton Lentudis, a current LMP racer in the European Le Mans
Winner
Series.
last week?
Yep, winner last weekend in Paul Ricard at the Circuit du Castellet in his LMP2 car. And here he is, the Greek driver in his Peugeot. He lines up in 5th place on the grid. And just alongside him, Jean-Baptiste Lahaye. Lahaye, whose brother drove the car last time out. I'm now forgetting where. Imola, that's where we were. It's an early morning.
But both the Lahaye brothers, as well as Crichton and others, by the way, in this series, they're regular, full season LMP drivers, LMP3 for the Lahayes and their family-owned Ultimate team. They were in action as well last weekend at Paul Ricard. Grid is being cleared for the start of the formation lap.
Here is our pole sitter in LMP2, Alexandre Leroy in the IDEX Sport Run LMP2 car number 28.
Yeah, had his run ruined yesterday by a puncture. That may or may not have been to do with a few off-track moments from Alexandre. But 40 minutes on the clock, glorious conditions, fans coming in for the sights and sounds of Legends of Le Mans. What is this? Well, this is, as I said, it's a brand new part of the support package organised by Peter Otto. Raced at Imola, racing here, of course, today as the second part of the double header for this race meeting. Then next up will be Classic Le Mans in July, and depending on what happens with the somewhat geopolitically influenced calendar, bit of a delayed getaway there from Sean Lynn, should be supporting at Bahrain as well, and there are plans afoot for development with this series. I think I can see Mark Drain's car. I can, it's there. Yeah,
okay, so I'm not quite sure why there was a little gap there. There seemed to be a gap ahead of the orange Aston Martin. Maybe they were set a row further back because it's a different category of car. But Sean Lynn leads the field now, having got away nicely. And as they sweep up in front of the grandstand, there's Bruno Fama and the period boss of the Peugeot team.
Now sporting director at the ACO, so the man responsible for the rule book.
Yeah.
So good to have Bruno on board after spells at Peugeot, then the FIA, then Alpine until earlier this year, and snapped up by them. Take us through the grid, Martin.
Yeah, so Sean Lynn starts on pole position in the Oreca Peugeot, Michel Frey alongside, then Stuart Wiltshire, another of the Peugeots, with Marcel Iby's car absent from the grid. Crichton Lentudis in the third of the Peugeots, yesterday's winner from the green highlights of Jean-Baptiste Lehey. There he goes, Alexandre Leroy and Yevgeny Kiriev in the G-Drive car. Then Francois Perraudot in his LMP2 Porsche RS Spyder, ahead of Andy Cummings, Alfie Briggs and David Cheng returning to racing, ahead of Pierre Arret, Mark Drain, Michel Doppelmayr, and the two LMGTE cars, the Orange Oman Racing Aston Martin of Professor Wolfgang Hensler. He is behind the Alpha Lotus of Professor Wolfgang Hensler. So Franz Wunderlich is in the orange Aston Martin.
Ones to watch here. Watch Francois Perraudot starting 9th on the grid in the Epic number 83.
Little lock up there from Pierre Arret, trying to warm the tyres.
The Epic Porsche RS Spyder, and he'll be looking for an LMP2 race win. He'll be looking for invitational class scalps as well. We've got two silver rank drivers in the level 5, ex-level 5 Lola there, Alfie Briggs, and ahead of him in the number 21 Oak Pescarello, Jean-Baptiste Lehey, that Martin mentioned earlier. They will not count in the overall results. They will be shuffled back. They'll be allowed to race and race freely, but at the end of the race they will not be classified. But he'll be looking to take those scalps anyway, and after that he'll be looking to see what he can do about the LMP1 cars. What to expect from the little Porsche? Not a lot in the first and maybe even the third sector, but in the middle sector, it's the quickest thing on track by a million miles.
Yeah. Very, very good at high downforce stuff. And we were talking to Francois Perraudot about it when we were in the paddock in Imola, and he was saying it's the best handling car I have ever driven, bar none.
So in terms of where we're going with this, the cars making their way down. Much more to come in terms of cars likely to join the fun later this year and into next year. And those people asking about Audis, yes, they're coming. But there you go, he's pleased. But
just winds the clock back a couple of years, doesn't it?
Well, Wolfgang is, he has the status here as the ambassador for the Legends of Le Mans, so he's been very present in the paddock. And there you go, there are our 4 LMP1 cars, two very different. Tommy Erdos, another legend of Le Mans,
yeah,
2-time LMP2 winner. Good to see him in the paddock.
So side by side, Sean Lynn with the Harlequin colours and the open car of Michel Frey. And then behind Sean is Stuart Wiltshire, lining up behind him on row 3. On the inside, Crichton Lentudis, and as we go, an aggressive start from Stuart Wiltshire, looking down the inside of Sean Lynn, but Michel Frey going around the outside. Now, the Peugeot drivers traditionally have been a little cautious in the opening lap or two. There was contact between 3 cars there in our LMP2 group, and dropping way down the order. I know Marcel Iby didn't start, so he's disappeared off the timing screen. But into the lead and climbing the hill for the first time, Sean Lynn ahead of Michel Frey, and Crichton Lentudis up to 3rd, Stuart Wiltshire in 4th place. So yesterday's race winner already looking up the outside line as they come to Les Cons for the first time. But Michel Frey keeping his Judd-powered car just in front.
It was contact, by the way, Mark Drain on David Cheng in turn 1, so let's hope that's no harm, no foul. V12 turbo diesel leads V10 petrol-powered car, and another V12 Peugeot, then the V8 turbo diesel, and then we start with the line of LMP2 class cars, starting with Jean-Baptiste Lehey, invitational entry. Francois Perraudot already up to the lead of LMP2 with just Lehey ahead of him.
Curb cams give a very good indication of the different sounds of these cars. Judd V8s and V10s, you got the Nissan V8s in some of the LMP2 cars, you got the diesel turbos as well. So it's a great cacophony of sound. Sean Lynn starting to ease away from Michel Frey with the two Peugeots of Crichton Lentudis, and then Stuart Wiltshire holding up Jean-Baptiste Lahaye and Francois Perraudot. Perraudot's going to lose out in terms of punch on the climb up the hill to the bus stop, but he'll be well placed to try and take advantage on lap 2 of the race.
Yeah, but remember, whilst they can have tyre warmers in the paddock, nothing on the grid or on pit lane, so there will be still some heat to go into those tyres. Once Perraudot has got the confidence in the grip underneath him, you're going to see some fireworks, certainly in that middle sector, I'm sure, but already harassing Jean-Baptiste Lahaye, and that's in a sector that doesn't favour the car. Sean Lynn, meanwhile, begins to gap Michel Frey. Michel fending off the close attentions of Crichton Lentudis. Stuart Wiltshire, meanwhile, is the leader of that train with Jean-Baptiste Lahaye and Francois Perraudot. What a mixed grid this is. It may be small in number, Martin, but the variety is fantastic.
It is, and they're making a good noise as well. So the fans who have arrived early, plenty to see here. And they've got the Carrera Cup Benelux as well to enjoy before the pre-race procedures for the World Endurance Championship. Now here's the chance for Crichton Lentudis, this time sending it up the inside into Les Comps, but again, not just slamming the car on the inside. These cars are big, high downforce machines with an awful lot of torque. Of course, in period, it would have dusted off the car in front of it without any problems, but these are gentleman drivers. They're all bronze-graded drivers apart from Jean-Baptiste Lahaye and Alfie Briggs. Here comes the orange Fanta Racing Aston Martin, Frans Wunderlich, just being repassed by Pierre Arret, who lost ground at the start.
That would have been in that tussle at turn 1, and Frans Wunderlich taking advantage in the Aston Martin. He'll just cycle back to the battle he will have, no doubt, for the rest of the race with the little Lotus. You can see the background, though.
Although Lotus has to get by the LMP3 car of Michael Doppelmayr, LMP2 car of Michael Doppelmayr first. Yes, United Auto Sports Ligier.
Yeah, lots of colours that are familiar from the days back then, as well as some of these drivers. And I have to say, you mentioned this yesterday, fair number of the pit crews as well. It's great to see some old friends. Here comes Crichton, building confidence in the grip he's got as well.
Crikey, well, I'm not sure whether he intended to be alongside there or not, but the oomph of the Peugeot hurling it up the hill definitely put him in a position on the inside where I don't think anybody would have been wildly comfortable. Two wheels on the grass on the inside coming up the hill there. That's that's ballsy territory.
Yeah, this car from Crichton Lentudis, pole sitter at Petit Le Mans back in the day, took a little nibble there, lost out again, and a little bit of late and heavier braking lets Michel Frey get away.
Again, too short a straight there, I think, really, to think about that. He would have been better advised to sit behind Michel Frey, wait until you get out of Rédillon up the hill here, and then just unleash those Peugeot ponies up the hill.
Let's take a chance now to just watch. This is not the Field of Dreams area, this track for Francois Perraudot, but he'll close from here on in, from Les Comps on Jean-Baptiste Lahaye. So watch the gap now, watch how that should come down now with heat in the tyres, heat in the brakes, and his head full of possibilities. Let's have a look and see just what it is that Francois Perraudot can do when we get now to the twisty bits.
Yeah, he's gone from 1.2 to 0.6 behind already, so he's halved that gap as soon as they get to a corner. There's Stuart Lynn, your leader. Fastest race lap for him last time around.
Sean did...
Sean Lynn, beg your pardon.
Sean had trouble yesterday.
Didn't do a lap.
No, he didn't. Pitted after the formation lap. Great to see the car back on song. This is going to be a cracking little battle, though, isn't it?
Again, not into piff-paff. He's got to wait for the long straight, and really, the problem is the Judd V10 punches off the corners so well that Michel Frey kind of gets a bit of a head start, but Crichton needs to be hammered down here now and just build that wave of torque and fly up the hill.
There is the Jean-Baptiste Lehay, Francois Perraudot battle, and now getting into an area of the track that perhaps the Oak Pescarola can pull away a little. Stuart Wiltshire trying to make good his escape. Behind them, by the way, Alexander Leroy hanging on there in the little Ligier P2. Pretty little car from the end of the previous rule sets of LMP2. LMP2 cars up to 2016 permitted in this series.
Perraudot, by the way, just setting the fastest middle sector of any car in the race on this lap. And that's how quick that car is in the twiddly bits.
And Sean Lynn, meanwhile, fastest lap of the race at 2:10.024. We saw 2:08 yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
From, I think, from Crichton.
He's the only man in the 2:10s. Michel Frey 2:11. So too is Crichton Lentudis in third place.
Still Michel Frey.
Now here we go. Now he's got it right. Sorry, jumping there, Graham. Yeah, Crichton Lentudis this time had the run that he needed through Erugen over Rédillon, and then using the power of the Peugeot to creep by up into Lecombe.
And look at the respect shown there. These are older cars, valuable cars. This is racing for, they are very competitive, but racing for fun. There is absolutely no point wheel banging these things.
Well, you're racing for fun, and fun does not involve getting tangled up with somebody and one or both of you flying off into the barriers and potentially doing yourself a lot of harm, never mind the car.
Indeed.
And it is that sort of, there is self-preservation as well as machine preservation here that does occasionally creep in.
Quick word about these Peugeots. 3 cars on the grid. We had 4 at Imola. There's Steve Brooks's car, I believe, will be back. Just needed a repair at the Imola race, and obviously parts not in fulsome supply. All 3 of these cars, we watch, this is the overtake, part of a batch of 9 bought from Peugeot directly by a consortium put together by Bob Berridge at BBM Sports, and a mixed batch of V12, V8 cars, all with really good racing heritage, and most of them now not just in private ownership but back and racing with full part supply. Watch the 41 now. That, I think, was okay from Crichton. We are hearing that car 41, which is David Cheng, is under investigation for the start. Big lock up there.
Well, he locks up in the middle. It's the white car with the red roll hoops, and there was sort of contact, but actually I don't think he drove into somebody. It was more that Mark Drain's car sort of bumped into him.
We then see, by the way, the issue for Pierre Arret. He ran wide and through the gravel, but continued.
Well, he was the car on the outside of that trio. So as Mark Drain and David Cheng sort of got wriggly, I think Pierre Arret opened the steering and went, "Oh, I'm avoiding that."
This could be an interesting moment, by the way. We're still getting purple sectors and a new fastest lap. Initially going to Sean Lynn, but now immediately to Crichton Lentudis, freed up from the challenge of the Lola. He's jetting away, 2:08.419, 3 seconds the gap to Sean Lynn. Could have a bit of Peugeot on Peugeot action.
Well, we should do, because that's actually 1.2 seconds quicker than Sean went on the previous lap. Now, Sean Lynn's car did not start yesterday's race, so whether it's quite as healthy as it ought to be, and he certainly hasn't got the 40 minutes experience that Crichton does. It wasn't contact for David Cheng. It was passing another car before the start line. And as a former World Endurance Championship race winner and
overall podium finisher at the Le Mans as well for David,
he should have known that was the rule. But there we go.
There you go. Well, he's been away for a while, but 10 seconds penalty added to the race time it will be for David Cheng. At the moment, that will not drop him down a position. So we'll wait and see how that one goes.
Pierre Arret here in car number 35, right back on the heels of Mark Drain.
He's very much quicker than Mark, 5 seconds quicker last time around, and I think he's going to make pretty short work of the unique ARX-04, the HPD car, that raced just once in period at the Rolex 24 Hours and was found to have trouble.
Ooh.
And that is Michel Frey.
Yep, facing the wrong way, Frey. And so you can see where the black marks are where you run out wide out of campus, and you can see there the Verglass skid marks where he's looped it round.
Has he got damage to the left rear?
I'm not sure if he has or not. He might have punctured if he's run into the gravel there, but...
Crichton Tudis, by the way, is on it. He's just at a 2:07.6. The lead gap now down to 1.6 seconds, catching Sean Lynn. That could be interesting to watch shortly, but for the moment, we're sticking with Pierre Arret trying to deal with Mark Drain. So this car, the number 39 car, the only 2015 spec car that remains, the other car from Tequila Patron ESM, and that's the turnaround, so no damage visible there.
I think he just dropped a wheel on the outside into the gravel. You saw the next couple of cars both kicking up dirt, so it's very easily done.
The sister ARX04 converted to an Evo spec with a view to bringing it back, but ran out of time before the introduction of the 2017 rule book, which is still with us, by the way, the effectively the Orica 07 base. Trouble for Michael Doppelmayr.
Yeah, I was about to mention that he was in the pits a lap ago. This car kind of failed to finish yesterday as well, so not on its best behaviour. Down the inside, Pierrette at La Source, and just trying to get the car hooked up, but it was a tight exit there. He was trying to avoid contact with the car in front, and so just had a little too much wheel spin.
Acura's got good straight line speed. But, I suspect at some point, with a little bit more confidence, the car underneath him, Pierre should get by. Crichton Tudis, by the way, under a second back now from the overall win, the overall lead rather. Sean Lynn still fending him off. It's a BBM Sport 123. It's a Peugeot 123 at the moment. Then Jean-Baptiste Lehay with Francois Perraudot right there with him.
Lentudis, another second and a half quicker than the race leader on the previous lap, and here he is, he's now right with him. So Sean Lynn leading yesterday's race winner, Crichton Lentudis.
Both these cars campaigned in North America in period. The Orica liveried car, of course, a winner at Sebring in emotional form in 2011 for Hugh de Schonack. Some fantastic shots of those moments taken by my friend and colleague David Lord of his emotional response to beating the factory team with the new V8 powered cars.
And at the Le Mans race, where they all expired with the same puff of smoke from the exhaust, the Orica car was the last man standing, wasn't it? And eventually, inevitably, the engine problem that had done for the factory cars did for them as well.
He's got a good run here. He got a good run up through Rouge and into Radion, but not quite enough. This car, the number 8 car, by the way, trouble! And trouble of the very large variety, not quite as bad as it looked.
That's from the exhaust rather than from under the engine cover. I think that's a spin, and him firing it up again.
Oof.
Yeah, so the flames was unburnt fuel in the exhaust. So I think spinning it, he stalled it.
Yeah, about to see a Batmobile moment there, aren't
exactly, yeah. Atomic batteries to speed.
Indeed, but so dramas from Mark Drain. That's seen Pierre Arret through, and
Pierre finished ahead of Mark Drain in yesterday's race. Not exactly nose to tail, but they were. He was just ahead of him. Francois Perraudot being pinged for track limits, so too has Michel Frey. I think that was Frey's spin, to be honest.
Traffic the leaders in the shape of the pretty little Lotus Evora 2011 car from the ILMC, the precursor to the current FIA World Endurance Championship, driven in period by, including star of First Dates, Johnny Molan.
Nobody heard that bus coming in a hurry, did they?
Also, by the way, a professional racing driver.
The man with more retirements than Tom Jones and Blue Eyes put together. Ooh.
Mark Drain just hopping curbs.
But all four wheels inside there, so that's another track limits infringement there. Recovering from his spin.
982 last time around from Crichton Tudis, who's thoroughly enjoying himself at the moment. We've got 25 minutes left of this 40-minute encounter. We've got a proper Peugeot battle for the lead. Jean-Baptiste Lehay, by the way, harassing Stuart Wiltshire now for third overall, with Francois Perraudot right there still. So this has got real prospects. Purple middle sector again for this is Michel Frey. Just dealing with Michael Doppelmayr has rejoined the race in his Ligier.
He has indeed.
One of 3 JSP2 Ligiers in this race. 2 of them with Nissan Power, 1 with the Judd V8. Let's see again, are we going to get the Batmobile moment this time? Certainly.
Scott Sharp, Ryan Diel and David Heinemeier Hansen were the drivers of that car. Heinemeier Hansen announcing just this week that he's got another drive lined up as well.
Back at Le Mans.
Yeah.
DHH, good to see him back. Loves his racing, the Danish tech genius. Still, the two V12, the HDI FAP versions of the Peugeot. So many back-to-back 1,000-kilometre, 6-hour race wins for these cars, and only once did they manage in 2009 to get the code right for the win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. A famous win for them.
Well, that previous year when everything went pop, or didn't go pop spectacularly, it was just a smoke ring out of the side exhaust, wasn't it? And that was the demise of the car.
Connecting rods, I think it was. They changed to titanium connecting rods. Had a performance advantage that wasn't quite enough, and it was a major error from the Peugeot team.
They hadn't endurance tested engines with those components in, and unfortunately, yeah,
Peugeot,
they were all let down by that.
A unique set of racing achievements for the Peugeot, Mark. Winners at Le Mans, winners in the Sports Car World Championship, of course, winners in the World Rally Championship, winners at the Indy 500 in the very early years of the race.
A year or two ago.
Yes.
A year or two ago. So Sean Lynn, Crichton Lentudis.
They're having a good old dice, aren't they?
0 laps yesterday and race winner yesterday in that order.
And both in the 207s this time around. They are not hanging around here. Brodo still with Jean-Baptiste Lehay, who is still with Stuart Wiltshire, and we've got some developing battles at the P2 numbers beyond that, by the way. We'll keep an eye on some of those as they emerge. How is David Cheng going? Still trying to get onto terms with Alfie Briggs, but remember David has got that 10-second penalty to come, which means, as things stand, he would finish behind Michel Frey, who has rejoined, of course, after that spin. He's now worked his way back up to 11th, but it's quicker than many of the cars ahead of him. I suspect, though, he's got some rather threatening bit-shaped tyres.
Yeah, it's probably vibrating quite nicely. Stuart Wiltshire, the third of the Peugeots, climbing the hill up to Les Combes, and behind him with the green highlights, Jean-Baptiste Lehay has really shaken off the attentions of Francois Perraudot.
We've not seen the car that this young man is here to support. He owns the car, Roman Rusinov, long time team owner and driver for G-Drive Racing, with a variety of service providers in its time.
Class winner at Le Mans.
Indeed, and still owns the Oreca 05 in the hands of Evgeny Kirov, that runs third in LMP2, 7th overall in the G-Drive livery. Car that had no little success here at Spa, in the hands of Jota Sport, no less. Yep. Here, of course, as part of the FI World Endurance Championship with Cadillac this year, the Cadillac Hertz Team Jota moniker. But lots of very familiar faces. We saw, of course, Tommy Erdos earlier on the cans with one of the teams. Roman the same with his old car. Not permitted to drive it unless he wanted an invitational entry. So Evgeny Kirov it is, and he was driving it in a somewhat spirited fashion yesterday.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
20 minutes to go. Still, this battle goes on, 0.4 of a second apart. And they're just waiting. Basically, what you've got here is Crichton is waiting for Sean to slightly stutter and stumble, isn't he?
Do you know what? Sean Lynn has sort of upped his pace now that Crichton has arrived. I think he was sort of just in top gear mode when he was leading on his own. Now Crichton is there. Sean Lynn's gone from 2 minute 9 point something down to 2 minute 7.5. And Crichton Lentudis is right with him. So actually, I think Sean was just waiting for somebody to come and play.
Indeed.
And this is what it's all about, isn't it? Running in very close company with a very similar rival.
Pretty cars, these Peugeots, and I do love that Oreca livery. Sean, of course, father of Alex Lynn, current Cadillac factory driver in the WEC, not present here, but is due to be back with the team for Le Mans. Hope you're getting better. Alex, we'll see you next week for an event in London. And also Max Lynn, accomplished historic racer with his father now, and a range of machinery. And Sean involved with the rival Motor Racing Legends package.
Well, I think it's less of a rival. It's more of a different. Yeah, I think this is the historic racing firmament now. Is their are championships and series springing up for cars of different eras all over the place. You know, cars from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s have been racing quite regularly. You know, we've had the Group C revival very successfully over the last 10 years. And now people are looking at cars that raced this century as opposed to last century as being, you know, let's get them out of mothballs and let's have fun with these things.
Quick shot of the white and red Zytek of David Cheng, the Greaves Motorsport, still owned by Greaves Motorsport car, being caught now by the LMP1 car. So the Zytek still in the livery. It raced at Le Mans with Jan Martinborough back then, gamer turned racer, and the story told in the Gran Turismo movie. They're going to be dealing with the Lotus Evora traffic shortly. David, a quick text exchange with him late last night after the race yesterday. Think about that fuel. There was a sensor or settings issue for that car, but ran out of fuel in the very late stages. He is loving this car and loving the return to an open top car as well, the sensation of speed. As you said at the top of the show, Martin, David and his wife, blessed with a new young son. Congratulations to them. Spent some time with them as, I think at that point, a relatively recently married couple. During the Age of Le Mans series, they popped along for dinner. And it is because of that conversation that nowadays you and I in the FIWC talk about not FIA, but yay IFA,
yep.
Because David's wife explained beautifully and politely just how wrong we were.
Well, I have history with that, with Martin Qua in World Touring Cars and a number of other athletes in winter sports. Now, Michel Frey looking at the inside of David Cheng. Well, he does have the speed advantage.
He's got about 150 horsepower more. He's also got a braking advantage.
Yeah.
Brakes the size of, you know, Alan Partridge-sized dinner plates, the big plates, as opposed to the LMP2 spec stuff. And still this battle goes on, still under a second, and still the battle behind Stuart Wiltshire is being closed again now by Jean-Baptiste Lehay. And Francois Peroda's not giving this up. There you go.
And although they look very similar indeed, the red and white car rather than the white and red car, that's LMP1 passing LMP2. So it's little surprise that Michel Frey got ahead of David Cheng. Now then.
Very close.
Yeah. Crichton Lentudis choosing his position, but this is not the place for a big car like the Peugeot to try and make a move.
Looking for the cutback, and I think he might have got this, you know. It did that beautifully, but the problem is, of course, equal performance of these cars.
But if you get on the throttle first, you see, that's the problem. That is the problem there with having that advantage there, is that then you have to wave it off a little bit, and suddenly you're behind coming out of Rédillon and up the Kemmel Straight, and it'll take you the whole straight to close back up. Does he have enough to go down the inside of Sean Lynn? Sean's been very good under brakes and just moves a little to close the door on Crichton.
There'll be big smiles from both of these guys after this race if they keep up this quality of racing between the two of them.
They'll be hot and sweaty after this as well. These are not light cars to be twiddling around.
That is Stuart Wiltshire. Jean-Baptiste Lehay has got ahead of Stuart.
Yeah. Stuart's had an issue somewhere because he's only just ahead of Francois Peroda. So
that was a 2:17.3. So has he had a moment? I think he has. And now Francois will smell blood and diesel.
That sounds like, that feels like a spin at the bus stop. Oh no, it's not.
It already happened.
No, it has already happened. So it may well have been a spin at the bus stop, because Jean-Baptiste Lehay got by him for third and around the outside.
Tried, almost had to give it up because he knew the Peugeot had the better straight line speed. Still the battle going on, under 15 minutes to go now.
Oh, Crichton, stay out of the gravel.
And by the way, as the crowds arrive, they're coming to the spectator fencing to watch and listen to these glorious machines. Look, these Peugeots may not have the prettiest engine note, but there's something spectacular about something that races this hard, making this little sound.
I can remember going to Le Mans and standing out by the Porsche curse. Oh, big spin for Stuart Lynn. And Crichton Lentudis goes through. Stuart Lynn, I said earlier, has been very good under braking. Now then, that's Pierre Arret returning to the track.
Was he unsighted by something?
Did Stuart Lynn see that car spinning in front of him coming in?
He's struggling to get that car back and going. I think he's done it now.
That looks like he was still in sort of 4th gear or something, and he's just clicking it down the gearbox. But of course, it has to be moving for it to shift those gears.
Yeah, and Sean will be gutted about that. So there it is. His car is
Pierre
off the
Arret's
track.
Gone off. There's waved yellow flags.
I think he was unsighted and missed the braking point.
Yeah, just distracted a little.
Yeah.
And of course, Crichton Lentudis should not pass under yellow, but when the guy in front of you spins off, what do? Park it and wait?
No,
of course you don't. You have to carry on.
So Crichton will be an even wider grin now.
Well, as long as he stays off the gravel down at campus and doesn't bin it in the remaining 14 minutes.
So
as he came out wide on the last couple of laps, he was riding the
part of my thing here. I think something's happened with Francois Perodo.
No, I think Stuart Wiltshire is not a driver issue. I think that is a mechanical issue. Right. I think that's why he's dropped down.
That's what also explains why Francois had a slightly slower lap. So here comes Crichton Lentudis all on his lonesome now.
Well, he won by 22 seconds yesterday. He's 19 seconds ahead of Sean Lynn.
In a race that could barely be more different, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it shows as well, by the way, Crichton Lentudis was not, he would not mind me saying, the quickest man in the world in a GT car. Came to LMP2, as pretty much everybody does. Get a quick look at Alfie Briggs in the little Lola, the P2 car. As pretty much everybody does, including, by the way, our friend, colleague and world champion Anthony Davidson, struggled a little when they transitioned to the LMP2 car, but now he's got his hand in that car, is steady, reliable, keeps it on the island, hands it over to his professional drivers, and they're regularly going on to win races.
Yep. And that's the secret of it, is to and for the bronze drivers particularly, it is a being better than yourself every day challenge.
Know your limits and stretch them.
Yeah, exactly.
Acura and Ligier in the same shot. There is Mark Drain's number 39 car.
Oh, he's had a little bit of a touch and a bit of a flappy dive plane there.
That was turn 1 with David Cheng.
Yeah. Crichton Lentudis crests the rise at Rédillon, corner 4, and heads up the Kemmel Straight.
As we're watching Crichton, the next battle on track, I think, is going to be the recovery Michel Frey catching Alfie Briggs.
I always love that camera
Lola
shot because the straight there looks level on camera.
It's absolutely
It looks level
not
on camera here. I promise you, you'll be panting like a racehorse by the time you get to the top of there if you're walking up it. It is so steep.
You've run this circuit.
No, I have not run this circuit. No.
I know people who have.
Our Le Mans colleague David Addison has on a number of occasions.
But a number of my colleagues, including Stephen Kilby, and it's hello, there comes Stuart Wiltshire into the pits.
Yeah.
That's, I think you're quite right. And well, not only is Rouge Radion steeper than you think it is, but you're absolutely right. The Kemmel Straight. You know, if you can make it up there. And to all my friends that have attempted to run the circuit, I'll be visiting you tonight with the flowers and the grapes.
Yeah, Stuart Wiltshire, I'm sure he's got a technical issue with the car. It looked like it was down on power a couple of times, misfiring maybe, or not getting the right fuel in, whatever.
This is Alexandre Leroy going by Michael Doppelmayr.
Yeah, Michael Doppelmayr, a couple of laps back after that enforced pit stop in the United Auto Sports car.
The background, by the way, so there you go. Evgeny Kirov in the Oreca 05, another Nissan V8 engine car coming towards us, and very much the last chapter of these regulations, that Oreca, before we got to the current 07, over 150 of which have now been built. And this car, by the way, could have been, in period, upgraded to a 07.
Yeah.
So few survive, by the way, that in order to have the full set in his collection, I can tell you that Hugh de Schoenack has very recently built a new one, just so it can go into the reception of their stunning new facility there. Great to see the grandstands filling up ahead of the start later of the FI World Endurance Championship.
And it's going to be chilly there up at Eau Rouge Rédillon because that is in the shade, so everybody wrapped up well.
It's not chilly, it's still Belgium.
So Crichton Lentudis, the leader from Sean Lynn, still in second place, but now 23 seconds back. Jean-Baptiste Hay in third, Francois Perrodo fourth, and then the battle between Alexandre Leroy and Yevgeny Kiriev for second in LMP2. They're fifth and sixth overall. Yeah, that is closing right up. Kiriev had a little bit of trouble in traffic. There's Sean Lynn as he's gone by Pierre-Arret as well.
Well, two battles still very much underway. One is for bragging rights in the LMP2 field. LMP2 lead is held by Francois Perrodo, but he'd like to take the scalp of Jean-Baptiste Lehay, and he's closing back in. It's a 2:10.080. It's Francois' fastest lap of the race. Also, keep an eye on that battle with Evgeny Kiriev and Alexandre Leroy, because that is coming down quite quickly as well. Under 9 minutes to go, and still plenty on the board to play for.
47 here, the KCMG liveried open LMP2 car. Andy Cummings failed to make it to the finish yesterday, ended up stopped sort of up at the top of the Kemmel Straight.
Still scored on the podium though. Yep. This was the first LMP car fielded by Hong Kong-based Paul Ip-owned KCMG. They went on later with the open top and then the closed top Orecas, taking the win at Le Mans in the Oreca 05, which I believe Paul still owns. I think I saw that car under restoration at BBM Sport quite recently. Took the Le Mans win in LMP2 in 2015. This basically brought them into international sports car racing. They stayed there for a couple of seasons in the World Endurance Championship. And back, by the way, this year, racing next weekend, KCMG, in a Mercedes AMG at the Nürburgring 24 Hours.
KCMG AMG.
Yes, indeed.
Too many TLAs in that, isn't there?
But I think it'll be the only year they race an AMG. Watch this space.
Jean-Baptiste Lehay, third overall, and Francois Perrodo right with him again. Does look as though either the car or Jean-Baptiste fading a little in the closing stages. Still 7 minutes to go.
Still quite quick here. This is not about him fading. I think it's about Francois finding pace again. He's got, you know, a couple of 3 laps to go.
Had any problems finding pace?
No, he doesn't. And, you know what? He is the uber enthusiast, and he's joyful about this car. He loves his racing. Absolutely competitive. Employs the best people. Oh, and that's the little Lotus has been off through the gravel. That will just cramp the style of this battle for a moment or two. This is not the part of the track where the Porsche RS Spyder is strong. He's going to have to hang on in where the Oak Pescarolo has got the advantage here in the straight line till we get down to Les Combes, and at that point it starts to go. That is, just a little bit of oversteer turned into a little bit of understeer, turned into a bit of a gravelly moment.
Now both of these cars are LMP2 cars.
Oh, it's totally different eras.
Of a different era indeed, yeah.
Well, this number 83 car marks a point in the LMP2 regulations where someone at Porsche Motorsport North America thought, hang on a minute, we've got an opportunity here.
There's room to drive a coach and horses through this regulation gap.
Let's grab that coach, let's get as many horses as we can, and let's blitz it. Now we see, with Francois Perrodo gets into the sweet spot for the Porsche, it's in the turns. Nothing handles like this thing. So this car raced with Penske in period, and I'm going to keep, because I think Francois may have him here.
I think so.
He's covering the outside line that Francois we know likes from yesterday. But this is cracking stuff here from these two.
The problem now is the later in Sector 2 that Francois Perrodo gets past, the closer Jean-Baptiste Lehay will be behind him from here, where it's all about cubes and horsepower up the hill. So that didn't work. He's going to have to try again. 5 minutes on the clock. This is the battle for third place overall.
Cracking stuff.
Perrodo leading in LMP2, although they're both P2 cars. Jean-Baptiste, like his brother Mathieu, who raced in Imola, is not a bronze-graded driver, so he's in the invitational class only.
Closes up on a braking very strong there. So to complete the points, factory-backed LMP2 became the thing in the American Le Mans Series for a period. Included, by the way, cars in private hands, including this one, Horrocks Racing. This was their spare car, unraced in period. raced with Dyson Racing, raced with Muscle Milk amongst others in the United States, and raced in Europe and won at Le Mans.
Yes.
Then the rulemakers said, actually, you know what, that's enough. The costs are spiralling for what is meant to be our Pro-Am class. What you see ahead of it is effectively what replaced it, and that was bringing it back to production-based engines.
Yeah.
And the chassis and engine supply marketplace boomed again. And this was part of the story until we got to closed top cars in the middle of that decade, and now to our current formula that operates in the European Le Mans Series, the Asian Le Mans Series, and the InterWeatherTech Sports Car Championship until 2028, when we get the new cars. That's and it's a history lesson.
So thinking forward, that red and white car was, of course, in red and yellow DHL colours. Ooh, Crichton Lentudis, another fastest race lap for the leader, 2 minutes 6.6. That in red and yellow DHL colours run by Penske, those Porsche RS Spyders battled with the Audi turbo diesels in the American Le Mans Series. Now, if we're getting Audis back, I want Panos LMP1 Roadsters, please, as well.
Oh, we get that done. There are cars out there.
Saw one.
There are cars out there racing in historic racing, the Panos Roadsters. And, you know, look, I think it's pretty simple. There will be people out there in the historic racing teams, in the ownership groups, and people who want to own cars like this, looking at this and thinking, I'd like a bit of that.
And Sparky, the battery boy, where's that? You know, come on, let's get some of these things out.
Yeah, the Q9 Panos from 1998, absolute pioneer, developed by Panos with Zytek in period. And John Manchester, if you're watching, recently retired from Zytek. He and his team very, very proud of all that was achieved in that era. This is going to go to the flag, isn't it? Great stuff. They go past Frans van der Link and his Fanta Racing Legend Bio Classic. Needs a shorter team name, boys and girls.
Yeah, they do.
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin Vantage V8. See, even that's not a short enough name, is it?
You tell that the grip is all it should be. Beginning to get Romain Dumas wobbly neck syndrome here on Francois Prodo. Romain, of course, wonderful driver, but always had that style. It did appear aboard this car that his head was on a spring.
Roman the bobblehead.
Did not stop him winning races, I can tell you that. But Francois will be buzzed from this. He's clearly enjoying himself, as is Jean-Baptiste Lehay. But away and clear, 31 seconds to good now after that spin from Sean Lynn.
The Lotus again staying out of the way. No, that was fine. That was fine.
That was the P1 on P2 Lotus battle. Is Andy Cummings just ahead of them? He is.
Yeah, he is.
So this is going to be Michel Frey in the last 90 seconds plus whatever remains, trying to get back up to 7th place.
Well, these guys will maybe not have one more lap, because Crichton Lentudis has just crossed the line with 1 minute and 20 to go.
They'll have this and one more.
He'll have run out of checkered flag will be out. Will have run out by the time Lentudis gets there, but he might have passed these guys. Down the inside comes Michel Frey, going by Alfie Briggs.
Yeah, Alfie, the other invitational entry, silver ranks, some huge success in karting, looking for his way into contemporary racing now. And that black Lola Coupe, a later version of LMP2 with the level 5 racing colours that it carried in period. Had an almighty shunt here, by the way, in period. And, of course, a team with, let's say, a rich history, with the emphasis on the rich. And the team principal of Level 5 Motorsport should be out any day now.
These guys are going to get another lap, but this battle might not, because Crichton Lentudis is already out of Beau Rivage and heading down towards Pouhon. He might just be behind them at the line. I think Andy Cummings...
No. They're through turn 14 here. His next target is the 39 car.
So they will probably get another lap.
They will get another lap.
It's the rate of closing, where he catches the other cars.
Last lap, though, for Crichton Lentudis. He's driven this car beautifully today. I said it before, his rising confidence in LMP2 has been helped by his adventures in Group C and now LMP1 cars. And that is making a big change, the way in which his confidence grows with his current LMP2 Oreca in the European Le Mans Series.
Climbing the hill for the final time. Again, no visible emissions from the diesel engine.
Cough, cough. Oh, there is a wonderful story about that. I'll maybe save that one for another day.
I think we might need to. The checkered flag awaits Crichton Lentudis. Yesterday's race winner becomes today's race winner as well. He finished yesterday afternoon with the top step of the podium. Starts this morning with it. Crichton Lentudis, double race winner in the Peugeot here at Spa. And he will be around half a minute ahead of Sean Lynn, his stablemate in the Orica liveried car. Anthony Davison adamant that this is the colour that they should be. Across the line to take the checkered flag comes David Cheng.
Well, he'll be have that 10 seconds added. It will not cost him a position, so David will finish 5th in LMP2. Still, this battle goes on, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not done quite yet.
They're racing down the hill, but Francois Perraudot has one shot and one shot only, and that is under braking at the bus stop. If he can somehow wriggle by Jean-Baptiste Lahaye, he should out-drag him to the line.
Don't think that's going to be a thing here. What we're going to see, by the way, is it will be Francois Perraudot on the overall podium, because Jean-Baptiste, as an invitational entry, does not count in the finishing order. But it's given us one of the battles of the race here. There they go to the finish. Jean-Baptiste Lahaye, the 21 Oak Pescarolo, and Francois Perraudot, he was enjoying that, fist in the air, and wins LMP2 again on the overall podium again. Behind him, finishing the race, Pierre Arret. Recovery drive from him back up to 6th, ahead of Mark Drain, and 40-odd seconds back from David Cheng. And here comes Frans van der Lijk. It will be the Aston Martin, the 2020 car, that takes the win ahead of the somewhat more seasoned Lotus Evora in LMGTE.
So race winner yesterday, and if memory serves, double race winner in Imola as well. So 4 from 4 for Frans van der Lijk in the Fanta Racing Legend by Code Classic, the historic offshoot of Code Racing Developments, who run currently Aston Martins in the Michelin Le Mans Cup.
Great stuff for the Legends of Le Mans. Next up for this series will be Le Mans Classic. If you've not visited, taken in that event, I absolutely urge you to do so. Fantastic track action, thousands, and absolutely literally thousands of cars on display from every era of motoring and motorsport. It is an absolutely world-class event. All the charm of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, with a crowd that there's still 6 figures, but on a plot that's as big as the Le Mans 24 Hours is, it swallows it beautifully, and the atmosphere is fantastic. And in July, so too should the weather be. There's the results, Martin.
Yeah, and the great thing about that Le Mans Classic is, of course, you can get tickets. Crichton Lentudis the winner. It's a Peugeot 1-2. Sean Lynn half a minute behind him. Jean-Baptiste Lahaye 3rd overall, but Francois Perraudot will move up onto that podium. He is our LMP2 winner ahead of Alexandre Leroy and Yevgeny Kiriev. Invitational class winners, Jean-Baptiste Lahaye ahead of Alfie Briggs, but in LMGTE, Frans van der Lijk having the advantage over Professor Wolfgang Hensler, so ending up with the win there. Michael Doppelmayr having issues with the car, having to make a pit stop, and unfortunately Stuart Wiltshire retiring his car, and Marcel Aby not starting his car.
So
however,
no shortage of action. A crowd pouring in. More race action to come this morning for them, with the Carrera Cup Benelux about to get underway. And after that, of course, 6 hours of entertainment for the WEC. But let's take a look back at the last 40 minutes.
Yeah, enterprising start from the second row of the grid. Stuart Wiltshire having a little look down the inside of the pole sitter Sean Lynn as he battled with Michel Frey. Michel Frey in the open LMP1 car. Little contact further back. Not too much of a drama for Mark Drain or David Cheng, and even Pierre Arret, who went through the gavel recovering. Sean Lynn using the power of the Peugeot to ease in front of Michel Frey early on, leaving Crichton Lentudis to do the chasing in car number 8. After a number of attempts, having a look down the inside, possibly not the strongest place for the Peugeot. Lentudis worked out that the long Kemmel Straight was a better attack zone and moved up into second place ahead of Michel Frey. Frey then just dropping a wheel into the gravel on the exit of Campus and spinning the car. Fortunately, not collecting anything other than a bit of a heart scare. Ditto for the 39 car of Mark Drain, spinning the car out of Piff Paff and having to restart it. David Cheng passed by the LMP1 car of the recovering Michel Frey as Michel fought his way up to eventual 6th position overall. And David and Francois Perrodo having an enterprising battle there with the then slightly ill car of Stuart Wiltshire. Perrodo going past him as Wiltshire made his way back to the pit lane and retirement. And out front, Sean Lynn, the leader, under pressure from Crichton Lentudis, but then dropping the car under braking, under yellow flags because of the issues for Pierre Arret just ahead of him. And that allowed Lentudis to go through into a lead he was never to surrender. Michel Frey working his way back up through traffic in the Judd V10 powered LMP1 car. But out front, Crichton Lentudis racing away from the field. Once Sean Lynn had recovered, he was never able to close that gap back up below half a minute. So Lentudis, yesterday's race winner, winning again. LMP2 victory going to Francois Perrodo in the Porsche RS Spyder, and the Aston Martin of Frans Wunderlich again winning in LMGTE. So there is unlikely to be a spare seat in the house by the time we get our World Endurance Championship race underway at 2 o'clock local time. Beautiful weather conditions after, Graham, frankly, the most miserable weather at the beginning of the week.
It's not been optimal, has it? And certainly I'm looking forward to actually a bit of warm sun, you know, wandering around the paddock in a few moments. But thanks for joining us this morning. Early start, that is the overall result. 19 laps completed for Crichton Lentudis, takes the win by 30 seconds from Sean Lynn. Francois Perrodo takes LMP2, 3rd overall from Alexander Leroy and Evgeny Kirev. That battle didn't quite make it to the end. And then in GTE, 11th overall for Frans van der Link in the Aston Martin from Professor Wolfgang Hensler in his pretty little Lotus. That's what they wrote. That's what the podiums will be this morning. Remember, for the FIA World Endurance Championship, it is a Saturday race, as it always is here at Spa-Francorchamps. And it looks like the weather gods are going to smile on us.
Really does.
So there you go. There's only one question. Is it frites or is it waffle?
Well, how is that either or?
That's just the accompaniment. It's garnish.
It's frites and mayonnaise with a bratwurst in a bun. That is what I call the breakfast of champions.
Good to see Father Jack's stall next to it. Drink.
Drink. Indeed. So plenty of entertainment coming up for the fans this weekend. And of course, we start at 2 o'clock local, which means with a 6-hour race, we won't be finishing till 8 p.m. So it will very much be dusky, and hopefully there'll be a beautiful sunset on its way as well. The photographers will enjoy that. If it remains as clear as this, it could be absolutely a very different racetrack from anything that the cars have been on so far this weekend, where it's been overcast, track temperature's been around 20 degrees, and it will be considerably warmer than that, I should think, by the time we get to race start this afternoon.
Yep.
What are we looking at the moment? Track temperature is already 16 degrees, so that's as warm as it was in most of the free practice sessions.
If we get that sunset, we might actually see something we seldom see in motorsport, which is a photographer smiling.
Oh, I don't know. That's a bit much to
There'll be something going on. He said that, or that marshal did this.
You've now got to walk through the media centre with all the photographers.
Yeah. Don't like I care.
Like they're listening.
You've no idea how bad and awful my life is. Yes. Enjoying a healthy snack, this young lady.
I know.
Great to see so many families here today. That has been very much a part of the growth of endurance racing in recent seasons. Thank you for coming. If you are considering coming elsewhere, do so. Bring friends, bring the family. It's a great day out. And here's the thing, for endurance racing, whether or not it's here in the World Endurance Championship, or it's for the European Le Mans Series, or in GT racing across Europe and beyond, great access and pretty cheap to get in.
Yep, absolutely so. Looking forward to the crowds that will pack the pit lane for the autograph sessions pre-World Endurance. But for the moment, that is it for Legends of Le Mans here at Spa-Francorchamps. So thank you for joining us. For Graham Goodwin and me, Martin Haven. We will see you shortly for the World Endurance Championship. But for now, it is au revoir.